David, unmute your camera.
Can you see me, sir?
Right. Yes, yes. Right. Okay, so we'll move on to the session. Very good evening. Welcome, everyone. And thank you for joining us for today's webinar. My name is Kumaran, and I am the head of Computer Science and Engineering Department, Jaya Engineering College. On behalf of Jaya Group of Institutions, we welcome you all to the webinar on Cisco networking and unified communication. Today, we are pleased to welcome our speaker, Mr. David IMMANUEL from Inside Direct UK Ltd, Edinburgh, UK. So, we extend a warm welcome to you, David.
Thank you, sir.
So, unified communication. The people work together in different ways, and they use a lot of collaboration tools like IP telephony for voice calling, web and video conferencing, voicemail, mobility, desktop sharing, instant messaging, and more. Unified communication solutions deliver integration of these tools with seamless user experiences that help people work together more effectively. Anywhere on any device. They bring real-time communication from your phone system and conferencing solutions together with messaging and chat, and integrate with everybody business application using APIs. So the UC solutions are available as on premises software, partner hosted solutions, or as a service from cloud providers. So we have a highly experienced person working on Cisco networking and unified communications for more than 15 years. We are going to hear a lot about unified communication and networking from the expert. Before getting into the session, so we have a regular note to the participant. So at the end of the session, everyone should submit a feedback form through which the e-certificate will be generated. So you can receive the e-certificate maximum of 2 days. And in the feedback form, type your name in the capital letter and provide a valid email ID so that you will receive the certificate without any issues. And the technology used here is purely rely on the strength of the local bandwidth. So if you have any audio video issues, okay, and you can click reconnect button so that you will resume getting audio and video. And so if there's any technical glitch in our side, we will be back in maximum of 30 seconds. So don't close the window, don't close the browser. So don't go anywhere. Okay, straight into the webinar. And if you have any questions during the presentation, please type them into the chat box and select QA mode so that it's easy for us to identify the questions. We will address all your questions at the end. So the recorded version of this webinar will be available in YouTube after 12 hours. You can watch the replay of videos of all our webinars through YouTube. So with this note, now without further delay, we will turn the time over to the speaker. It's my honor and privilege to introduce Mr. David IMMANUEL. David graduated from University of Madras in the year 2005 under the discipline of BTech IT. He has over 15 years of experience in networking and unified communication. Having greater exposure in Cisco unified communication, Cisco contact center, that's UCCE and UCCX, Cisco UC Cloud WebEx calling, that's a broad cloud, and Cisco networking. He started his career in Microland Private Limited, Bangalore as an incident management specialist in 2006, where he worked around 2 years. Then moved to CTS Bangalore as an incident and change management expert for about 2.5 years. Then he worked for Ford Motor Company for around 9 years in various positions and handled the network architecture, planning, build configuration, implementation, and testing. Then he moved to UK and worked in Hutchinson Network Limited and PCM Technology Solutions UK Limited as a unified communication engineer. Currently, he is with the Inside Direct UK Limited as a senior unified communication technical specialist from July 2019. He has obtained a number of certifications from Cisco, name a few: CCNA routing switching, CCNA collaboration, CCNA routing, CCNP switching, CCIE collaboration, Cisco certified WebEx calling for admin professional, and so on. With this brief introduction, so without wasting our time, we will move on to the session. I am very glad to welcome Mr. David Emmanuel to present. Over to you, David.
Thank you, sir. You almost covered everything about my self-introduction, so thank you very much for that. And thank you, and thanks everyone for joining today. Kumar sir is one of my favorite teachers, very responsible and caring teacher. All right, let's move on to the slides. So my self-introduction is almost already over. So let me move on to the first one about, so you might have different opinion and idea about networking and unified communication. Sometime it will be precisely right. Sometime it could be slightly different than what you think. So I want to give clarity about what is the scope we have for networking and unified communication, and also other infrastructure related technical domain. How you can explore your skill set, and it's suitable for certain criteria of people, and who has to choose it, and what is the path, what is the future. And so any domain, any technical domain that you choose should have a very clean roadmap so that you can travel in that way smoothly. Though the technology, the way of revolution happens, and any sort of major change happen in the market. So I'm very proud to say networking, unified communication, or security, network security, these are the evergreen domain that you can trust on, because any artificial intelligence comes in, anything comes, they always need a communication that to happen. So that's the key, that's a key one. All right. So let me, okay. So these are the topics that we are going to cover today. So I have some specific timeline to cover each topic. So please hold your questions if you have. We do have a Q&A session at end of this end of this session, and we can pick up your question. And the first one is about 3 reasons to study networking and unified communication. As I said, there's a lot of technical domain that you have outside the market, but why networking and unified communication I've chosen, and why it's better. I'll not say it's better than everything, but it's a very good domain compared with anything else. The reason being the number of opportunity you have, and then I'm seeing it for last more than 15 years, how it's going, and I can see how the networking and also the unified communication will be after 10-15 years. And there is no business can run effectively without a proper stable network or stable unified communication. So the one main reason is the opportunity. Any company you go, anywhere you go, there will be a network engineer. All right. It could be a small size office, it could be medium size, or the big company, whatever the size of the company. Maybe a small company will just have a DSL router, but when the business grows, when we need network connectivity as a very potential and high critical thing, then obviously they'll invest in more component, more application, and they do need, technician, the skilled people to configure it, maintain it, and support it. So the opportunities are wide open. And the second reason is you don't need to be coding guru to be a networking or unified communication person. Well, I'm one of the guys who don't understand or who don't very good. I'm not good in programming. It take about 2 years to realize that I'm not a good guy for programming. It's not. If you're not good in programming, it's not that you're not brainy. Um, it's your skill set. Your skill set might not be suitable for programming. Someone's skill set will not be suitable for management. Someone's skill set will not be suitable for testing. It's something like that. I'm not a good guy for programming. So 2 years after trying Java very hard, then I realized it's not my cup of tea. So I moved on to networking. And you don't need to you don't need to be good in very high skilled mathematician or anything. If you have basic understanding about how computer works, how IP address work, how basic things works, you are more than good enough to get into this domain. And it's evergreen. And the third point is it's an evergreen, globally recognized. So if you learn a technology here, if you have a Cisco certification like CCNA or CCNP or any other certification, and that certification is valid across the world, so it doesn't differ from country to country. Tomorrow, if you travel to abroad, still your certification is valid. And any company you go to Cisco, you go to Oracle, you go to Cognizant, every company will recognize the certificate as a very potential and valid, because when they go for a project bidding to client, and they'll give, okay, my project will have 10 CCNAs and 5 CCNP and 1 CCIE. So that's how they bid and take the projects to their company. So these certifications are valid across the world, and everybody understands what they're talking about. So these are the three main reasons you will be globally recognized, and you don't need to have a very good programming skill set, and also the opportunities are very high. All right. So there are three common myths around networking and unified communication about, all right, so network people will always run with hardware, and it's not the white collar job. You need to do a lot of your physical effort, and this is not the right place for people, brainy people. This is something like that. So the basic myth is they confuse between the system administration and network administration. In the system administration, is make have to do a lot of OS upgrade. They have to move desktop from one place to other place. So networking is completely different from the system administration. You need to understand that. And 90% of the network and UC professional, they work in the remote office. The client will be in US or UK or any other country in the world, and they'll be supporting it from India. Sometimes they go to on-site and support from on-site. And very, very less number of network or UC engineers will have the hard working. Like that depends on how you choose. In some case, people love to do hardware level of troubleshooting, so they'll choose to be the field engineer. So if there is an issue, there is an outage, and if there is some hardware failure, so people will give a call to the field engineer to look into the motherboard or RAM or whatever the PVDM, they call it as a PVDM card or whatever it is. They'll have to go there, screw down, open up the box and find out what exactly they're wrong. Look at the lights. But if you are a remote engineer, but very less number of scope in that, because the hardware failures are very, very rare. So the demand is also very less. And also the other category is the rack and stack. So their requirement is required at the first time of installation. Basically, they open up the box, they put it in the rack, they screw everything and connect cable, make sure all the lights are fine, and provide the basic IP address and provide the access to the remote engineer who will configure it. So otherwise, mostly it will be a white collar job. You'll be sitting at some remote place and working for your customer. And the other myth is that it's not suitable for women. It's absolutely wrong. It's same like how you do your software. The same number of work hours, the same amount of effort that you have to put, whether you are good in testing or if you are a developer, or there is no difference between these. So there is it's a myth that women candidates are not suitable for networking, but I've seen many women candidates within my team, and we recruited many, and we do have a community called WIN, Women in Networking, and the WIN is a big community across the world, and there is a lot of women candidates who completed CCNA level of certification and doing good job. And the other is physical presence. I think this third point is almost relevant to the first one. The physical presence is not required at 90% of time. It's only required when you do the rack and stacking, and also when you do the field engineer. I'm in the COVID situation. I'm working last 4 months. I'm working from home, and absolutely the zero project, zero issues in project deliverables. We are doing good. Almost every team from my team who's working from home delivering good. We are working fine, so it's absolutely fine. All right, so this is about network overview, about how the traditional network works, and currently a lot of companies are getting into SDN, which is easy to manage and it's easily scalable, and it's more flexible and more monitorable. So people are slowly moving from traditional network to SDN, but not everyone. And some customers are really want to have traditional network for some reasons. But let's explore about how traditional network works and also how SDN works. So consider these four, what you're seeing from the left side, right? Four routers as four different sites. Just assume that way, okay? So the bottom guy want to communicate with the guy who's in the top, okay? So how the traffic will be routed? Either the bottom site has to communicate through the right router or the left router. Though the connectivity has both sides, the communication happen through only one way. So if you know the TCP concept or windowing concept, if you the packet data will go and the acknowledgement has to come back. So if you route the traffic, same packet or same data into two different packets into two different way, the data sequence will get collision. There will be a collision. So it will be one path it will take. So which path to be taken and who will decide it? That's the major concern in the traditional network, because every router has its own brain, and it has protocols, and these protocols decide, okay, the guy from the bottom say I'm the master, and the right guy will say I'm the master. So all the four has to negotiate to themselves, okay, using the link state communication or whatever it is, and they come to a conclusion that, okay, you be the master, I'll be the backup master. They call it as designated router and the backup designated router, and the DR and the BDR. It happens in one particular protocol called OSP. So consider if all the four are communicating through a protocol called OSP, then that's how they communicate. They do form an area between them, and two area can communicate with area border gateway, blah blah blah. So this is more of like, consider, okay, that the top guy has become a brain now, and he decides how to communicate with the bottom guy. Then he decides, okay, let me do one thing. Let me take the left direction. I'll take the right direction. It take that decision based on multiple things, bandwidth and the cost of the link and all that. And manually also you can reroute it. And this guy decided to take the right side path, and consider if the master is down due to a power outage or something else, network outage or whatever reason, if the master is down, basically called as designated router, then who will make the decision immediately? The backup designation router. And the backup designation router will decide, okay, fine, there is another path. We can choose that path to reach so and so. And when the master comes, the designated router comes back, the responsibility should hand it over back to him, or is the responsibility within the same router? That's a problem. This is where the routing loop happens. The routing issue happens. And when the routing loop happens, everybody will get confused and all four will go offline, or all four network connectivity will go off. So that's a big problem in traditional network. We have plenty of we have set of routing protocol like BGP or OSPF or ISIS and EHRP. Every protocol maintain a routing table, and this table is kind of a summary. Okay, to reach so and so IP address or so and so subnet, you have to go this way, and all that will get screwed up when the routing loop happens. So that can be avoided. This type of confusion can be avoided in SDN, software defined network. What I explained to you is just one reason. There are many other reasons why SDN is better. Consider you want to, you want to put a new server with an IP address, and every server has an application, and the application communicates through port number. For example, your browser HTTP use the port number, I think 80. So consider if somebody want to allow your browser to work, and your subnet IP address and the port number both should be able to communicate, so that your browser you can go to Google or Gmail and get the data. If your port number doesn't work, it won't communicate. So in the same way, if I have a new port number, and all the four routers should have such routing configuration, right? And firewall should allow this ports. So you need to jump into each router and configure all the four routers one by one. But in SDN, you don't need to do it. You just have to configure it in the control plane and just push it to all the routers. So the major difference is in the traditional network, you have a control plane and the data plane in every device that you configure. But in the SDN, all the control plane will be centralized. You want to do the iOS upgrade for all the devices. You don't need to you don't need to get into that device. You can do it centrally. You want to configure everything with some specific set of configuration details. You can do centrally, and also you have more visibility, and all the four communicates from one brain. So it works very closely and very effectively. So that's a major difference between the traditional network and the SDN network. And Cisco used something called ACI. It's a tool, and this ACI, it's known as application centric infrastructure. And this tool provides the very high visibility of every component, every router, every switch, every wireless access point that you have in your network. All right, and you can download this PPT file, and this PPT file, there is a YouTube link. You can go ahead and see that when you get time. It compares both traditional and SDN and explain to you the difference, and also you can do further research to learn more about it. All right, let me move on to next one. This is the overview of unified communication. So I always recommend unified communication. I know my friends who directly learned unified communication without getting into network basics. But I strongly recommend, even if you choose to explore unified communication as your career path, please go through networking concepts, learn networking, and then you try it, because there's a lot of basic thing that you need to know from the networking side. For example, DNS, NTP, DNS is domain name server, NTP is network time protocol. So there are many things that covers in networking, including the IP address, IPv4 or IPv6. If you have that knowledge, you can do very good in unified communication, because both are interlinked, because unified communication runs on the network. If you understand the network, IP addressing, subnetting, and other, how the porting works and all that, then it's easy for you to understand unified communication. So yes, it's a completely different technical domain. Guys who get into unified communication, they completely move away from networking. They'll have some basic knowledge. I'm one of them. I started my career with network as a network engineer. At least last 7 years, I'm not into networking at all. I'm completely into unified communication. Within unified communication, you also have something called contact centers. So that's a different domain. That's a huge domain, technical domain, and you can take that as a career option as well. The difference is networking. The number of openings will be very high, and also number of demand. The engineers also will be very high, because everybody will have, when get into infrastructure, they get knowledge of networking. In unified communication, the demand will be less. At the same time, it's very difficult to find out resource in the market. In my company, we are looking for a unified communication engineer with 5 years of experience. At least last 5 months, we are looking for a right candidate. We couldn't get the right guy, because there's less number of people and the demand is also less. But when company need, it's very hard to find out. So it's up to you. But if I want a network engineer into my next team who works along with me, it's very easy for me to get. At the same time, and the number of job openings also very high. So it's up to you, and also based on your interest and what you like. But now the collaboration and the unified communication is booming, because everybody is getting into this, because everyone need to communicate. Everybody want to do remote working, and everybody want to do video conferencing, like webinar, what you have. So the demand of unified communication is increasing very rapidly, including WebEx, including Jabber. It's a soft client. You don't need to have desk phone anymore to make inside the company or outside the company. And conferencing room telepresence, like conferencing room, like 10-15 people, like face to face, not like what we have from one system to other system. It's kind of a theater kind of environment. You look like in the same room. The curved TV will be there, and the off of the oval table will be here, and the other half will be there, and multiple input will be taken by 5 to 6 cameras. So when you turn your head, you don't need to call someone name and say. You can just turn your head and talk, because they know that the guy from India is watching me, who's in New York. So it's the technology is booming very well, and number of travels are coming down, and business is making more profit, and they're very collaborative. So lot of demand in unified communication nowadays. Also, so what you see is the service. It's not just these 4. There are plenty, as I said, the telepresence and video conferencing. It's very hard to cover everything, but the major components what we use is call manager. Basically takes care of conferencing, your normal desk phone or soft phone, where you make call. So basically, when a call comes in from your PSTN network, your PSTN network, consider you're calling from your mobile network to your office phone. So the call comes from Vodafone, and the Vodafone call is known as the PSTN call, public call, and that comes to my local device, and my local device will convert the codec. So this call comes in a different codec, and this call will be converted to different codec and send it to your desk phone. So you always need a component, you always need a configuration to take care of this codec conversion and take care of the security. And not every codec can be communicate directly. So we need somebody to So consider these technology speaks in different language. Consider somebody speaking English, somebody speaking French, and they don't understand. And you need somebody in between who can translate to both of them. That's where the network plays a major role, and unified communication plays a major role. And we as engineers and technicians or technology guys who take care of this translation in implementing the UC components, configuring it, troubleshooting it, blah, blah, blah. All right, so that is about the call manager. And the next one is about the contacts, the IVR. Basically, the IVR is known as the contact center, interactive voice recognition. So what these components, what this do is, contact center is nothing but a call center. If I say it's a call center, it's just a call that you receive. But now it's more than that. Now the same agent, when I say the agent, the technical representative who pick up your call when you call to your mobile service provider or to your bank, so they known as agents. So the agents will do chatting. They pick up the chat from the browser, and also they pick up the call. So it's an incoming call, and they make a call that's known as outbound dialers, and many other way. So there is a tool called Social Miner to communicate with customer through Facebook or LinkedIn. Somebody want to buy a car who's looking into Facebook and searching for a car from Tata, and Tata want to reach out that person in Facebook or LinkedIn. Then Social Miner is the tool that communicates, the build a bridge between the agent and the whoever searching. So there is a lot of collaboration happens across the world to develop their business, to improve to face the competition they have today. So it's not just that. So consider when you give a call to consider you are a bank customer and you are giving a call to a bank, and you are a very valuable customer who have very good account and more than 1 crore cash deposit in your account, and bank consider you as a very valuable customer, and you will give a call to your bank number, and bank will have your phone number in their database. That's called CRM, customer relationship management. And the contact center will find out who's calling and pass the number to CRM and get the complete detail of the customer. And it will automatically decide whether this customer is how critical is this customer. Is a normal customer or privileged customer or platinum customer. Consider if some platinum customer, highly privileged customer is calling, and the system has realized it through the number it's calling, then it will give option. Are you calling for your banking? Are you calling for your credit card? Or you lost your card? Then they're choosing option 1, banking. Then it gives option, you want to know just a statement, or you want to speak to someone, or you just want to do something else, some cancellation or whatever it is. And this person is saying, I want to speak to your agent. And already there are 10 customers waiting in the line. There are 10, consider there are 20 agents, and we have plenty of 50 plus calls or 40 plus calls, and 10 calls are already in queue, and this person will be in the bottom of the queue, right? So he has to wait another 15 minutes or 30 minutes to reach out the agent. But this intelligent system, what it do, because it realized that this is a very critical customer, it will skip all the 10 guys who are waiting in the queue already and put the person in the top. All right, put the person in the top. So what happened? The valuable customer will reach the customer's agent within a minute. So this is how the contact center can be used, and this is how everybody increase their business. So he's no more frustrated customers. You don't need to wait for 10 minutes. In the same way, the queuing can happen in multiple way, different way. This is very beautiful, very interesting domain. Once you get into it, once you started enjoying this contact center concept, It's blow your mind, and I'm very sure it's very interesting, and also very high demand in the market today. Any business you run, you need a call center, you need a customer service number. It's not just banking, it's not just your telephone company. Even if you buy a phone, it has a contact center, right? It has a customer service number. Even if you go and buy a toy today, you have a customer care number. So it's a high demand. And if you go outside, every good company, every moderate or any company who want to develop their business, have a proper contact center. If somebody want to buy a new product, obviously they are very good for the business. So the system will provide high privilege to them and give priority to the call and prioritize the call and put it to the most skilled agent to sell the product correctly. Consider if it's a support who already purchased it, obviously the profit at that point in time, it depends on business to business. In some business, support is the major cost, major revenue. In some business, support is not. Sometimes you get a call just to discuss something to know about the product. So the business can categorize how to choose the call and how to route the call. All that can be happen through engineers like us who decide how to configure this contact center. And one additional point that I want to mention is, um, if a set of agents is busy, then what will happen, right? Most of the time, this is what business asks us when we go for new project or new bidding. This is the very common question we get. Consider you have 5 agents for marketing and 5 agents for sales. And marketing, you're getting plenty of calls in marketing. The agents are already all are busy, but number of calls are waiting. But somebody who is in sales, who have very good knowledge in marketing or some level of knowledge about marketing, considers all the 5 people who are in the marketing have the skill level of 10. 10 is the highest. And there is a guy who already worked in marketing, but now he is working in sales, who have knowledge of 8. Okay, his efficiency is 8. When all the 10 are busy, all the 5 are busy, it wait for 2 minutes or whatever time we set. We say, okay, wait for 1 minute, 3 minutes, 10 minutes. That depends on engineers like us and business decision. And then the call will be routed to the guy who's in sales. The marketing call will automatically route it to the guy in sales and tell the agents that you're not receiving the call for sales. This is the call from marketing. So the guy who received the call knows what type of business he has to do. There's plenty of opportunity. There's a lot to do about unified communication. And other than contact center, I focused too much about contact center because I'm very excited and I'm into contact center. I worked on multiple projects in contact center, so excited. So not just that, you have WebEx as a meeting. You can consider in a lockdown period, you want to open up a WebEx meeting with 50 guys. Yes, you can do it. It's kind of a virtual room. All the 50 guys can join together in a single WebEx call, can talk face to face with video or without video. So you need to have a WebEx server for that. So who install it? A guy like us. You go ahead and install the WebEx server and integrate that WebEx with Call Manager, so that you can understand the presence of the person. And also you have WebEx chat, you have Skype chat, you have plenty of chat. You consider if you have Microsoft Teams, which is no way relevant to Cisco, you can still install Microsoft Teams and integrate that Microsoft Teams with Call Manager. So when you do chatting, you use Microsoft communication. When you make a call internally, or if you want to make a call externally, it requires some service provider, some sort of routing to send the call to the public network. So Cisco Call Manager can take care of it. So from Team Microsoft product, you can do all the chatting, You can do video chatting. You can make internal calls, and also you can make external calls by integrating that with Cisco Call Manager. So that's a major advantage. Now, it's not mandatory that, okay, Cisco Call Manager works only with Cisco. It's not that. Any third-party tool can be integrated with Cisco Call Manager through APIs, and you can bang on. So there are plenty of other components like voicemail service. After, if nobody picked up the call, you can send it to voicemail. You have something called auto attendant console. It's mainly used from reception point of view. You can queue the call, you can park the call. In auto attendant console, you can see every employee present status. Consider somebody is calling to main office number. So every office will have a main number, right? Somebody is calling the main number and saying, I want to speak with, let's say, Kumaran sir. And from the reception, if they type the name in the system, they'll know whether Kumaran sir is available at the desk, he's in the meeting, or he's not in the meeting. It's a good time to transfer the call to him and all that. Then by clicking one button, the call will be transferred to him. So there is plenty of components available within unified communication. I'm afraid that this 1 hour is definitely not enough. So I'll in the upcoming slides, I'll give you a lot of study materials and the videos. You can offline, you can go through it, explore it, and find out. Okay, that's okay. So I have to explain everything. It takes a long time, but I'll try to be short as possible, because we have I need to cover about how to pursue the certification, how to secure home lab, the study materials, and also Q&A. So we just have another 20 minutes. So let me quickly go through it. So this is one of the organization or a company infrastructure that I designed. It's between the call managers. So what you're seeing is a CUCM, that's call managers. So we have 4 different clusters. This is in Asia Pacific. The top one is in Asia Pacific. The center one acts like a brain who communicates with everyone. The other 3 call managers that you see CUCM. What you're seeing is EU CUCM, it's Europe CUCM. ENA CUCM is North America CUCM. The US CUCM, it's a different one within the same country. All right. So what this do, if I consider that what you're seeing is a core hub and Asia regional hub. So the Asia regional hub, all the countries within Asia will communicate, will send the traffic to that gateway, to that router. So the in-country router that you're seeing, so every country will have an in-country router. Consider in India, there will be 2 in-country routers. For example, for this particular customer, one is considered in Bangalore, the other one is in Mumbai. Just assume. And this Bangalore and Mumbai router will send the traffic to one to Singapore and other one to maybe within India, maybe to Delhi somewhere. And this communicates with the core hub, which is in US. So, okay, this in-country hub router that you're seeing, with that will communicate to every office they have within the country. Consider, take Cognizant or Infosys as an example. They have plenty of office within Chennai, within Bangalore. So every office needs 2 routers for the failover. If in case one router goes down, other will take care of all the traffic, network traffic. So consider these 2 will communicate with their in-country router. Okay, they call it as a distribution layer. So they call the bottom one as the access layer, and they call the middle one as the distribution layer, and the top one as the core layer. So what will happen from the access layer? There will be multiple sites. Cognizant office in Thoripakam, Cognizant office in Siriseri, Cognizant office in Bangalore, Cognizant office in Hyderabad, all will communicate with in-country hub router they have. and those two in-country hub will communicate with their regional. They do have presence in multiple Asian countries, so it goes there, and from there it goes to a big giant or high configuration router which can process all the data. So that's how, consider if somebody want to communicate from Asia to America, the traffic goes here first to the access layer. From there it goes to distribution layer. From distribution layer it goes to core layer, and from the core layer, within core layer it goes to core hub, and that core hub will communicate with US regional hub, and the US regional hub will communicate with US in-country hub, and US in-country hub will communicate with the access layer of, let's say, New York office or whatever it is. That's how networks are connected within an organization. All right. So this is how the network architecture, high-level architecture works, and every site, every in-country or regional hub or core hub will have a redundancy, failover always. In some case, there will be a third one also. The third one will, even if 1, 2 goes down, the third one will pick up the traffic in the critical situation. So, in the same way, the service provider wise also, they plan for, let's say they get the broadband connection or the dedicated line or MPLS line from Tata Teleservices, then the other one from the Reliance, or one from the BSNL or other one from the Tata. So they make one as the primary, the other one as the secondary. That's how it works. And the unified communication in the same way, we in a cluster, we will not have one single server. We will have a cluster of servers. So any one servers or database damaged or down for any reason, the same IP phones, the same system will register with another system and act like nothing happened at all, because the failover happens in nanoseconds. Immediately, you don't even experience there is an outage, there is an issue. That's how the backups are readily available in all the network technologies that we have now. Okay, so consider if somebody want to give a call from the leftmost phone to rightmost phone, the call doesn't need to go to Asia regional hub, because in-country hub know how to route the call. And if the call is an external call, there is a virtual link between the voice gateway that you're seeing here, and from there you have a PRI line. Basically, this PRI line connects with Vodafone or Tata, whatever, whoever provides the mobile service or whoever provides the communication with the PSTN network. Okay. Let me move on. We have very less time, so this is about the certification path. You have entry level, associate level, and specialist, professional, expert, and blah blah blah. It's most importantly, you don't need to get into entry level. It's purely if somebody have no knowledge about networking, nothing to know, then they can go for entry level. But you can directly go ahead and write CCNA exam. There is no prerequisite for that. But if you want to do CCNP, you need to complete CCNA first, then only you can go to CCNP. So if anybody wants to try networking as their career, profession, whatever, I strongly suggest go and hit CCNA directly. And it's very easy to complete. You really don't need to waste your time on something else, because CCNA covers everything from the scratch, and you can easily grasp and clear the exam. And once that's been done, you do have some specialists. For example, contact center, what I explained to you about contact center. If you want to be a contact center engineer, then you have to go through it, learn this technology, and you consider if you want to be a telepresence engineer, you have an option. And if you want to have a data center engineer with some NetApp and blah blah, you have variety of options you have within the networking. Once you become CCNA, well, you decided to go to security. You think security has very good future in future. It's true, because the security threats are the more and more we collaborate, the more and more the technology develops, the security threat also develops. So security is another evergreen domain. If you want to get into security, yes, go ahead. There are plenty of options you have in security, like not only just Cisco, you have there's a company called F5, Checkpoint, Palo Alto. There's a lot of competition, a lot of products available. So it's up to you. So so anybody can easily start CCNA. You don't need to be very good in English. You don't need to be very good in mathematics. You don't need to be very good in scripting or coding or programming. Once that's been done, it's up to you how much you want to develop. If you want to develop more, you can go ahead and finish professional certificates, and you can go for expert level certificate. Um, Expert level certificates really hard because it's 2 hours theory exam and 8 hours practical exam. So if you get into a exam set, the exam happens only in Cisco office. That it won't happen in any other center. The practical exam. If you get into the exam morning 9 a.m., you'll come back 5:20 a.m. The 20 minutes is the lunch break. There is no break. If you take break for water or loo, that time is counted as your exam time. So it's very difficult. It only less than 10, if 100 people attempt this exam, lab exam, only 10% pass the exam. And overall, as an industry, if you choose uh, as a networking, security, or collaboration, or data center, overall, if you choose, less than 5% of the people, 5% of the engineers have completed the expert level certificate. It's hard, but there is a path, and it has extremely high value if you are a CCIE or expert level engineer. I've never seen expert level certificate. So the guy who has expert level certificate earn less than 17 lakhs per annum in India. And then abroad, it's very good. You don't need to worry about the pay, but it's tough. Once it's done, you might need about 6 months to 1 year of preparation or more than that. If you clear it, it's like, your life, your income, everything is in safe zone. The architecture level of certification, it was not there before. It was there in 2009. Then Cisco removed it. Again, they brought it back. I have no clue about what is there in currently. I've never looked into it. So, to my suggestion, if you seriously take this as your life career or your path, go ahead for CCNA, learn it, and then you decide whether you want to write the certification or you want to try something else. And if you are CCNA, it's very easy. If you have basic communication skill, it's and I studied in government school in Tamil medium language, so it's my communication was not that good, but you can quickly develop it as long as you have proper group discussion, and you have a group and have some pick up a topic, discuss among yourself. It's easy, you can easily develop. It takes some time. There will be a lot of mistakes you definitely will make, but you can learn it together and improve yourself. Um, and and getting the job, if you have the proper certification, uh, uh, will be, I'll not say it's easy, but if you focus and if you learn constantly and consistently, definitely there is a lot of job openings, and it's a lot of job openings going to come for networking. It's an evergreen domain. All right. So I finished my CCIE certification last year, September. So if you finish CCIE certification, you get a number. Okay, I'll show you at last. My number is 63093. So it's kind of very good privilege. You don't need to worry about your future of networking, because you always have the proper plan, proper certification path. You can gradually improve. Most of my friends who go up to professional and they go to expert, after they become professional, they'll become a team lead or team manager. They get into management. They'll quit technical. For some reason, I decided to stay in technical line, so I'm still I completed CCIE, but after 5, 6, 7 years of experience, they possibly move to another domain. which is management. All right, let me move on to the next one. This is the study material. When you download it, go ahead. This is the CCNA syllabus. This is there's a 40 videos of CCNA. It's completely free. All right. All you need to do, go through this video. You can read book. Obviously, you can buy a book and read it. But this training, it's like classroom training. This 40 videos, YouTube videos, will explain to you A to Z of CCNA, how to pass the exam, and every technology that you want, you should know, you have it here. Believe me, it's very useful set of videos. It's a playlist of 40 videos. It's very useful. And if you want to have introduction about unified communication, go through this. So you can, once you got this PPT, you can access all this, and virtual lab. So you're studying, now you want to access the lab, because without practicing whatever you study, you may forget or you cannot explain what you are doing. So there is a tool called GNS3. You can download this. I'm not sure. I think there's a trial version, but I'm not sure whether you can get it for free or not. That's up to you. But GNS3 software will act like a router or switch, whatever. You have plenty of options. Just drag and drop, and it create a virtual router. It creates virtual access point. It will create virtual system. It creates virtual switch. It's exactly like how you work inside the lab. If you have a physical lab or virtual lab, there is no difference at all. And this GNS3, it's a beautiful tool. It gives same experience, and you don't need to spend much. And the second option is Cisco dCloud or Viral. So what does VIRL and dCloud do? It's an online tool. You can log in. You can create your own free account. You can book your lab time, and you can practice it for free. Cisco provides this for free. So it's so simple to when I was doing, I didn't get this many options. There is no such YouTube video. I end up spending money in a networking institute, joining the classes. Now you have everything in YouTube. You have free labs. I'm really glad that all that available nowadays, and it's up to you whether this is your right domain or you are decided to go. The other is hire and use option. There are plenty of labs available in the market. You can approach them, pay nominal amount, pay for 150 hours or 100 hours, and you can hire the lab and practice. You don't need to build your own lab. You can just hire for certain hours and you can practice. And I think it will, for 100 hours, let's say 4,000 or 5,000 rupees it will cost. I'm not sure about the price, but you can check it out outside the market. That's about the lab. All right, I think we have very less time. All right, this is Q&A now, question and answer. If you have any questions, please go ahead. And first of all, thanks everyone for patiently listening. Thank you very much. And if anybody have any questions, please go ahead.
Yes. Thank you, David. We will go ahead and take some time for question now. Participants, if you have any question, please type on the chat box. It looks like we have few questions. The first question is, can I configure mobile Vivo IP on my company smartphone?
Yeah, definitely. It's not only in company mobile phone. You can even use it for your personal mobile phone, right? So we have something called Jabber, Cisco Jabber client. So this Jabber client can be installed in Apple or Android, anything. And there is a component, how we have call manager, there is a component called Expressway. So Expressway E and C, Edge and Core. And the Edge will be facing the public internet. So when you connect from your phone, the registration request will go, you'll give the username and the password, and it will be authenticated, and only the Vivo IP traffic. So that's the reason it's more secure. That's not possible to hack, because the data traffic will not be allowed. It's only the voice traffic allowed between the Expressway Edge and the Expressway C. and the call manager will sit beside Expressway C, which takes care of the registration and communication. Yeah, the answer is yes, it's possible. You have two options. You can do with VPN. If you do with VPN connection, then you don't need Expressway at all. And even you can do it without VPN. In public internet, you can connect it. For that, there is a solution called Expressway, Cisco Expressway. Just Google it. It's a very interesting one. And Expressway will securely allow you to your phone to register and also make any PSTN call or within the office or chat or whatever. Everything is allowed. Yes. The answer is yes.
Uh, the next question from Kavitanjali Prakash: is there any professional certification courses for unified communication?
Well, yeah, it was there before. How you have CCNA. CCNA was into multiple split. CCNA security, CCNA routing and switching, CCNA IP telephony, voice. But now Cisco have merged everything is into single CCNA. So, but if you see my PPT, there is a specialization where you can have contact center, and also as a unified communication, you have other options to learn. Yes, at this CCNA, the CCNA itself cover IP telephony, but if you want to focus on more, you do have specialized one, and you have CCNP collaboration. CCNP collaboration as the unified communication, everything of unified communication. So yes, you do have specific trainings and certifications.
Can outsiders access my VoIP line and gather confidential data?
No. So within your office network, you communicate, your communication is encrypted within the network. When you connect from home, you are secured through VPN. When you have a VPN-less connection, which I explained, it's not only applicable for your Jabber phone through your mobile. You can also do it from your laptop or desktop. In that case, the Expressway Edge has certain port numbers, and that port numbers will allow only people who got registered with their username and password. And also, even if they hack the username and password, it only allow the voice traffic. So because it's allow only the voice traffic, it's no possibility of misusing it. And also, there will be a firewall before Expressway Edge, and there will be a firewall before Expressway core. So it's kind of a DMZ zone. So DMZ zone is most secure zone, and it's not possible if something happen, and it's like every other network into vulnerable. Yeah.
Is it better to roll out an entire new UC system at once, or make the changes gradually?
Well, this is purely depends on the business requirement. Consider your business is. It's very important to suggest the right solution to the customer, because if they just need a normal desk phone and a soft client, soft phone Jabber, then you don't need to install everything. You don't need to install contact center. You don't need to install auto attendant console, which I explained for the receptionist. And if they have a receptionist and they think that the efficiency is not good, if this tool is good for the efficiency, then go ahead for that. And that's the reason we have something called business requirement plan. And in that business requirement plan, we take everything from customer about what are the challenges that they face today in the collaboration side, and what they want and what they don't want. So it depends on business, it depends on customer, depends on budget, many things. That's the reason engineers like us, the planning and architecture guys, will come in the play the role. Yeah.
So another question: as a fresher, in terms of employability scope and value, what's the better certification, CCNA or cloud certification like AWS, Azure, Google Cloud? What's the recommendation?
Well, it's very hard to reply. AWS is booming, Azure is booming. Those domains have extraordinary value today. I'm very sure I'm seeing it another 5 years, they will be definitely in boom. But after 20 years, I don't know. It, AWS can be better than that, or some other product come and swallow AWS. We don't know. But networking is not like that. That I can guarantee. I've seen it for last 15 years, and I can see where it will go. Any artificial intelligence, anything comes in, it's not easy to shake, because even artificial intelligence need data, and the data has to travel through networking, and any collaboration need to happen for business. So um, yeah, it's very hard to answer for current situation. The job market wise, yes, AWS or Azure, they have high potential, high opening. So what, it's up to your interest. And but my suggestion is, go through this video, see whether it looks interesting to you, or AWS or anything else, any other testing. Compare it and decide. Once you decide that, go with that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll take a last question, David.
All right.
Who sells unified communication?
Say that again, sir.
Who sells unified communication?
Okay, so Cisco is the major unified communication provider currently at this point in time. They do have competitor called Avaya, Genesis in contact center, Avaya in overall everywhere. So there is a lot of competitors. For example, voice. If you take voicemail as an example, there are voicemail alone. They don't provide everything, but they provide voicemail alone. But Cisco provide everything as a bundle. If you take Genesis as an example, they're good in contact center, but they are not good in call manager or call controlling. So in the same way, there is a lot of competitors, but and also now cloud-based calling is booming. Ring Central is doing well. Zoom is doing well. So they're all competitors. But from the corporate point of view, from the business point of view, I can easily say Cisco holds almost 70% of the stake at this point in time. And then it's not only from the collaboration point of view, right? Cisco has everything. They have network, they have collaboration, unified communication, they have security. Anything that you say, they do have a product that covers the infrastructure.
So it's one last question from Sakri Nagmet. Is doing certification mandatory for the job or skill or more than enough to get?
Okay, so if you see certification, obviously it's combination of many things. Obviously job, because knowledge, you can gather knowledge without certification. I'm 100% sure. You don't need to go for any certification if you want to gather knowledge. That's the YouTube videos and virtual labs are more than enough. But when you go for a job, definitely they ask for certification. And when they go for any company, or when your company go for any bidding, they'll say, okay, these many CCNAs and CCNPs I'll have in my team. That's how they win the project. So it has the global recognition. I'm a CCIE certified, so my company is a Cisco Gold partner. So every Cisco Gold partner should have at least minimum 5 CCIEs in their company. And if they don't have, they just don't provide the gold partner status. Gold partners have a lot of advantages, a lot of discounts and priorities, etc., etc. So Cisco itself, they provide value to the certificates, and companies also. So consider in my company, we have enough of CCIEs, 5 CCIEs, so it's fine. There are companies who cannot recruit 5 CCIEs because they're expensive. They just go ahead and buy hire it. For example, they will be employee of the company, but they don't come to office. Just for the namesake, they map their Cisco ID into their company, and every month they get paid for just the certification. So for knowledge wise, you don't need certification. For job wise, recognition wise, yes, I definitely recommend certification.
Okay, thank you, David. It looks like we have covered all of our questions. David, is there anything else you want to cover before wrap up?
No, I think I think we exceeded already 10 minutes, and thanks
Yeah,
everyone for your patience. Yeah. Thank you, sir.
yes,
Thanks for this
yeah, yeah.
opportunity.
Now it's time to conclude our event. Thank you very much, David, for spending your valuable time with us in your busy schedule. Thank you once again for readily accepted our invitation. David is the proud alumni of Jaya Engineering College. He has passed out in 2005 from ID department. I hope everyone enjoyed the session. I hope there are a lot more job prospect in this area. So contact Mr. David if you need any help. Definitely, he will help you out. On behalf of Jaya Group of Institutions and all participants, once again, thank you, David. At this juncture, I place my sincere thanks to our college management. My thanks to our chairman, Professor Vijay Nagaraj, our secretary, ma'am, Mrs. K. Vijay Kumari, our vice chairman, Engineer K. Nagaraj, our joint secretary, ma'am, Dr. K. Dina, our principal, Dr. K. Swamidari, and all my colleagues who rendered their support for conducting this webinar series. Great. Thank you, everyone. We appreciate you being here. The next schedule is on Friday, 26/6/2020 at 6 p.m. The topic is social skill for work and life by Mr. Ashwin Chandrasekaran, who is a technical specialist at Axel Technologies and is a passionate trainer and the area director, Toastmasters International. I request everyone to join for this webinar. Thank you all for your active participation. Thanks again for joining us today, and we will see you next on Friday at 6 p.m. Thank you, one
Thank
and
you,
all.
everyone.
Thank
Take
you,
care.
Dave.
Bye. Thank you, sir.